Question 3. Felix wants to work out how much it costs him to use his tumble dryer. 1.9 units of electricity for one load, 4 units per week. Sorry, 4 loads per week, and 12.8 pence per unit is the key information. Okay, let's start out by doing his units per week. We know that it is 1.9 units per load times by 4 loads per week. Times by 4, double it and double it again. So 1.9 doubled is 3.8. Double it again is going to give you 7.6. Okay, it's then 12.8 for each unit of that, so he's using 7.6 units times by 12.8 for the pence per unit. Okay, that's quite difficult to work out, but what we're going to do is we're going to work out 76 times 128, and we're going to use that to help us. Okay, so to work out 76 times 128, draw yourself out a bit of a bigger grid than that one. We'll try that again. So a nice big grid. So we've got 3 across the top and 2 there. Reason we've got 3 by 2 is because it is a 3-digit number, the 128, times by a 2-digit number, the 76. Okay, for 70 times 100, I can do 1 times 7, which is 7, and then I need 3 zeros, because there's 3 zeros in the question. Next one, 2 times 7 is 14, and then add on 2 zeros, and then 8 times 70 is 56, and add on 1 zero. 6 times 100 is 600, 6 times 20 is 120, 6 times 8 is 48. Okay, adding up the individual rows, so I've got 7,000 plus 1,400 is 8,400, plus 560 is 8,960. Next, 600 plus 120 is 720, add 48 is 768. Add that up, 0 and 8 is 8, 6 and 6 is 12, 9 and 7 is 16, plus 1 is 17, 8 and 1 gives me 9. So I've now got 9,728. Okay, going back to the question we wanted, I can see there's 2 numbers after the decimal point in the question, so I need 2 numbers after the decimal point in the answer. So my decimal point has to go there between the 7 and the 2. So my final answer, 97.28 pence. Okay, part B, Felix reads the electricity meter in his house each week. Here is the record of the number of units he's used each week for 16 weeks. Complete the stem and leaf diagram to represent this data. What can be a good idea is to write them out in numerical order first so that you don't make a mistake on your stem and leaf diagram, because remember you have to have really neat columns on there. So I'm just going to quickly do that at the side. Smallest number I've got is 49, and then looking for any in the 50s, I've got 53, 54 and 57, so all of those ones. I'm then going to go into the 60s. I've got 60, 64 and 67, and then I've got 70, I've got 73 twice, 73, I've got 74 twice. Oh, I can see I've missed out that 68, so I'm just going to, and this is why I do it that way, so in case I do miss any numbers out. So I've got a 68 that I missed. So then I was on the 2 74s, just carrying on down there. So 74, 74, and then 77 and 78, 77, 78, and 86 there. Okay, and that's just making sure I haven't missed any numbers out. As you can see, I did miss out the 68, but I've put it in. Alright, so I can then do the stem and leaf diagram. For 4, I want, for 40, I've got the 49, so I stick my 9 in there. The 50s, I've got 53, that 3 needs to go directly underneath the 9. I've got 4, and I've got 7. On to the 60s, I've got the 0, again, keep it in columns nice and neat. 64, 67, 68, and then 70, 73, 73 again, 74, oops, so that's a 4, 74 again, 77 and 78, and then lastly 86. Good idea just to count to make sure you haven't missed any out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and there was 16 numbers in the original list. Okay, Felix reads a newspaper article that the average household uses 330 of electricity each month. How does the electricity used compare with this figure? Support your answer using Felix's data. Okay, so how many marks is that one? Oh, I've cut off the marks, never mind. To compare the average amount, okay, we can use any of the three averages, the mean, median, or the mode. If it's stem and leaf, you want to be looking at the median because it is the easiest to find. All right, so go in the middle, so cross out biggest to smallest as you go. Okay, so biggest, smallest, biggest, sorry, smallest, biggest, smallest, biggest, smallest, biggest, smallest, biggest, smallest, biggest, smallest to biggest, and I'm left with two numbers. I'm left with the 68 and the 70. That means the median for Felix, let's make that a bit bigger, median is equal to 69. Remember, that's his weekly median, okay? So 69 a week. To look at a month, you can just times that by 4. So 69 times by 4. Well, 70 times by 4 is 280. So knock off that gives you 276 a month. And so you can compare that to the 330 units that was in the newspaper article and say Felix uses less electricity on average. On average. Okay, but it's important that you show those sums because that's where you're going to get the marks from for there, because we're actually using the data. And last part of this question, Felix reads in a newspaper article, sorry, that was the one that we've just done. For some reason I've written it on there, so sorry, you can see that we've got that bit on there. I've just answered that on the slide before. Okay, so finding the median, timesing it by 4 to get the month, and then using the average on there.